You're listening to the Zone Coverage Football Show, where opinions, passion, and pride are always on the line. Live from Tees Towers, here's your host, Mark Tees.
Hello, and welcome along to the Zone Coverage Football Show. It is Sunday, the 30th of November 2014, and thanks once again for joining me live from good old Tees Towers. Fingers crossed you are tuned in live via the TuneIn app and the Spreaker app, and as always, there's that cool little chat room in the corner on the Spreaker app if you want to send random messages, as Noel and Scott tend to do on a Sunday. So looking forward to the banter on that front there. First off, a bit of an apology my end, really. I did mention on last Sunday's show that I was going to do a Thanksgiving sort of special. Man flu / cold flu bug sort of got the better of me in the week. So my apologies to everyone, and to Noel at Blue Lion Man. He was going to jump on with me and we're going to come up with some sort of special. So if I do sound a bit croaky, probably improve the nonsense that you're used to hearing, in fairness, and I do have a random coughing fit, just please excuse me, but I managed to pull through, so do not fear. I survived the week of misery that was sniffles and snot everywhere. So that aside then, I should know by now, yeah, you're listening via TuneIn speaker, so that's good. You want to listen as a podcast, fill your boots, you can do that. Good old Stitcher, iTunes, leave ratings, feedback, all that sort of stuff. Like I mentioned last week, we do have the possibility now, so you can leave the show a voicemail. Go to the website to do that. That is www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com. You can also email the show if you like. That is zonecoveragefootballshow@mail.com, I do believe. Is that everything? Yeah, the website. I mentioned all that, all the episodes and all that sort of stuff. Bit of nonsense about me, all the live links, all the on-demand links, and everything you ever wanted is all on the website. So go check that out. Right then, today's show, what do we have? We have the Hot Route coming up in a moment, which I will set. And we also have the NFL news. We have a week in words. Don't worry, Texas Tees will not be making an appearance this week. It turns out that he is in fact a fraud. And I can't do accents. And doing accents with a limited voice is even harder. So I will save you from the pain there. So fear not, some sort of normality will be resumed. Oh, damn, the love line. I've got a blank space in my love line notes. Oh, dear. Never mind. I did actually concentrate and do a bit of research. The AFC Down the Stretch. So we're going to look at the teams, who they're playing, what the upcoming schedule is. And I also delved a little deeper into their records over the course of the last 3 years or so, how they fared in the last 5 games of the season, and I come up with some interesting facts, especially the San Diego Chargers. By the way, your schedule is an absolute nightmare. It's brutal, but they have an awesome fact. Well, I'm going to tease that. You're going to have to listen to the show and indulge me. So that is that there. We do have that. We also have fan versus fan. I'll tell you what, fan versus fan. I don't know, I'm going to have to start paying people. Come on, I've been calling all week for Chargers fans and Ravens fans. No one wants to know what gives there. So I had a last minute rustle around trying to get another couple of people on. Didn't happen. So fan versus fan this week is not happening, which means extra time for call. So if you want to call the show, you can do that, 0161 818 4593. You're going to have a look at the fixtures, tell you who's on the TV, what time, and so on and so on. Also, we'll delve into the standings, because I would imagine there's going to be time to do that today. Look at the playoff picture as well. And we'll talk about those Thanksgiving games. I only managed to watch 2 of the games. I was stuck at work, unfortunately. So I did catch the Bears, Lions, and then the Eagles, Cowboys later on. I've got the Seahawks, 49ers game still on the planner. So hopefully I get to that. So if you ring up about that, I'm a bit ignorant towards that one at the moment. I avoided the score to today, and then I've logged on NFL.com and seen a sodding score top of the page, so that's annoyed the crap out of me. But hey-ho, things like this happen. Right, let's kick this off then. Let's get into the hot route. Let's get this set for you today. So what do we have? Here goes Herm first before I set the question.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
So that is Herm Edwards having a little bit of a rant there, and hopefully you guys will join me in ranting away. The question of the day, hot route, whatever, I'm going with a double-pronged attack because the calls have been lacking the last few weeks. What's up with you? Have you all gone shy on me or what? What's the crack there? Anyway, the hot route today, after what I have to say was the most unbelievable catch that I've ever seen from Odell Beckham Jr. in that game last week against the Cowboys. That is absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. I couldn't stop watching it. I even missed the Cowboys touchdown because there was vines of the catch. And if you've not seen it, what the hell have you been playing at? It's like the greatest play ever made. So that is sort of the hot route, really. And also, I'm going to ask you to do a bit of groundwork, a bit of legwork today. Hot routes, question of the day. What is the greatest play you've ever seen? If you can find it on YouTube and whatever, send it to me on Twitter at ZoneCoverageFS. I will retweet those out. We'll get some going. And also, who's going to make the playoffs and who's going to miss out? So your thoughts on that. Try and keep it with the AFC for this week's episode. Next week, I'm going to do it'll be week 14 down the stretch of the NFC. So we'll have an in-depth look at the teams that way. So that's what's got to come on the upcoming weeks. Excuse me if I do sniffle every now and again. So again, the hot route is greatest play you've ever seen. Tweets, videos and all that, send my way. The butt fumble does not count as the best play you've ever seen. That would fall under comedic error. So the number 0161 818 4593, or you can do it on Skype. That is Teesmister, Teece Mister. So that's Teesmister on Skype. And yeah, that's everything set, I do believe. Check in on Twitter. Will Davies, always the first one to tweet the show. Appreciate that, sir. He says, afternoon, checking in ahead of tonight's big games, especially looking forward to the Pats and Packers, not on that I support either side. Ugh, teeth back in. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Will. Most people are touting this as a Super Bowl preview. The Packers have absolutely blown the doors off people going into half-time. The Patriots themselves have been smacking rear ends at an alarming rate. So who's going to win that one? That should be question of the day. Also, I think we had the Broncos Chiefs today as well. That's another big game. I do believe that the winner of that will go on to win the division. But we'll save that for later. So Will Davies, not only a hat rack, I do appreciate the tweet as always, sir. If you want to tweet in, Zone Coverage FS, the number again, 0161 818 4593, Teesmister on Skype. And let's delve into your NFL news, if I can find the right button. NFL news. There we go. Right then, so it was announced, I forget what day it was, but Katy Perry will be the Super Bowl halftime entertainment this year. Thoughts on that? Good, bad, or what? It's whatever. Usually, for me, the halftime Super Bowl shows, they're absolutely crap. They really are. I was expecting something to happen last year with Bruno Mars and then Chili Peppers come on, but it was quite boring and mundane. Whatever. So, Katy Perry is your Super Bowl entertainment. Thoughts on that? Zone Coverage FS. Right, second piece of news is Ryan Mallett. And I did have a Mallett sound effect. You must all remember this. You've surely got to be my age.
Association game, mustn't pause, mustn't hesitate, bashing ahead like this. Or like this, one with the most bruises, losers, look at each other, go bleh! Look at them and go bleh! Look back and go bleh! Good, and...
So that was good old Mallett's Mallet. You must remember that from back in the day, whack-a-day. So Ryan Mallett, unfortunately, after only a couple of games, he is out for the year. I can't remember what he's done now. Yeah, torn pectoral muscle. And with Mallett out for the Texans, the Bills then... No, not the Bills. The Texans signed former Bills quarterback Fad Lewis. So how about this? Fitz and Fad. It's like a new rap movement, surely. Fitz and Fad. The Texans' new hip-hop gang. Moving on swiftly. Item number 4 on the docket. Browns safety Tashard Gibson, who's been having pretty much a Pro Bowl type season, in fairness. He's been playing absolutely outstanding football. He's out for the remainder of the season after suffering a grade 3 MCL sprain. He might make it back for the playoffs if the Browns can get themselves out of that brutal division. We shall see. The Broncos, they worked out 2 kickers this week, Jay Feely and Connor Barth. And then on Wednesday, they cut Brandon Brandon McManus. He'd missed a few field goals of late. And they signed Connor Barth. Connor Barth, you should remember, was a Buccaneers kicker. And the chief safety, Eric Berry, he's out for the season. This scary, real scary one. And the doctors found a mass on his chest, and he's set to visit a lymphoma specialist to confirm the initial fears that he does in fact have lymphoma. So I've not heard anything since. It's been a couple of days that I've checked on the news and with Eric Berry's status there. So fingers crossed it's not as bad as they initially fear. So thoughts and prayers with Chief Safety Eric Berry there, and wish you a speedy recovery, sir, as I do with everyone that picks up an injury and that. But that one's especially frightening. The Bengals right tackle Andre Smith done for the year. He's undergone surgery on his arm. The Titans released veteran linebacker Sean Phillips. Then on Wednesday, the Colts picked him up off waivers. I'm going to sneeze. My nose is absolutely itching off. You have to excuse me if that does happen. Where are we now? Yeah, the nose is tingling. That's not on my notes. Yeah, the Cardinals, they signed former Bears running back Michael Bush to bolster the ground game. Cards, a bit disappointing the other week against the Seahawks. It was a good game. Enjoyed it. Good physical game. You know, I like them games, smash mouth football in the trenches and stuff. So they need to lean on the running. Well, not lean on the running game a bit more, just improve it really. So Michael Bush is coming there. The Jets, my New York Jets, they have gone back to Geno Smith. I don't really know what to say on that because I've not got an explicit rating on this show. So, yeah, the Jets are back to Geno Smith. I pretty much feel that this is probably his last shot at the gig before we move on and clear house and start again. Talking of quarterbacks and utter nonsense, a team that's actually managed to top my Jets, that's some doing. The absolute nonsense continues in Washington as the Redskins announced on Wednesday that RG3, he's now been benched in favour of Colt McCoy. And the Redskins play the Colts this week. Today. Yeah, with it being Sunday. More on. Anyway, right, let's move on. On Friday, Ray Rice won his appeal regarding his indefinite suspension. And that's now been overturned. I do have a few quotes here from the NFL.com website. Yeah, the NFL Media Group obtained Judge Barbara Jones's summary and decision in which Jones ruled that Rice did not mislead Commissioner Roger Goodell and therefore should not have been disciplined beyond the initial 2-game suspension with an additional fine of 1 week's salary. There's a quote here. It goes like that. In this arbitration, the NFL argues that Commissioner Goodell was misled when he disciplined Rice the first times because, after careful consideration of all the evidence, I am not persuaded that Rice lied to or misled the NFL at his June interview. I find that the indefinite suspension was an abuse of discretion and must be vacated. So, yeah, Ray Rice is now a free agent. He can sign with whoever he wants. And I've seen a little snippet on the NFL.com website earlier today that 4 clubs have been believed to be sniffing around there. I think the Colts were one. But will anyone sign Ray Rice? And can he get over what went on, which is absolutely shambolic behaviour? We've all seen the video now. It's been done to death. And the latest in the merry-go-round that is Ray Rice is... who's going to sign him? I really don't know. I'm not... Yeah, zone coverage FS if you can shout at a team that'd pick him up. So that is your news, basically. Not a great deal. A few bits and bobs. Hopefully enlightened you just a tad. Remember, the hot route 0161 818 4593. T. Smith on Skype. Greatest plays and that you've ever seen. Who's going to make the playoffs? Who's going to miss out on the playoffs? That is for the AFC this week. We will move on to a week in words, a feature that was, it's the best way of putting this now, just absolutely tortured last week with Texas Tisu, a relative of mine that I was led to believe that it was from Texas, but it turns out that he was a fraud. And after listening to that back, it was beyond cringeworthy, and the addition of a cold and stuff, I thought it best to leave that amiss. So these are the quotes and stuff that I have picked up on over the course of the last 7 days. It's Vince Wilfork on bandwagon fans. Right, this is what Vince had to say. Now you look back 11 weeks later and we're one of the best teams in the league. So the same people who were saying that we were the most terrible team in the league now are patting us on the back. We don't have room for them. We don't have room for bandwagoners, guys that just get off the bandwagon. Yeah. So that was Vince having a bit of a moan there. Yeah, thoughts on that? Zone coverage FS, are you? As there a lot of Pats bandwagon fans, this is a Jets fan taking shots. It's the only bit of glory that I've got. So I'm with Vince, you bandwagoners. Get off, do one. Anyway, the Browns wide receiver Andrew Hawkins on Brian Hoyer's struggles last game in his sort of renewed confidence. I don't think there's ever a time during a game when we think we're out of it because we have number 6 running the show. It's not just him. The guys around him are busting their butts. There's no question he's the leader on the offense. When you have confidence in your leader and he has confidence in himself and the rest of the team, then the sky is the limit on every given Sunday. So that is Browns wide receiver Andrew Hawkins pretty much backing, giving some vocal support for his quarterback. Nice to see that, rather than managing a nameless source throwing their QB under the bus. That happens week after week after week. Right then, on to Lions head coach Jim Caldwell on Dominique Raiola's dive block. It says, we don't condone those actions. Short but sweet. Anyway, Raiola, he was later fined $10,000. I put $10. Imagine if he just got fined $10. That'd be quite an upturn. Anyway, he was fined $10,000 by the NFL. That brings us on to Jags Gus Bradley on Blake Bortles. Decision making is not as sharp as he wants it to be. In short, he's young, but we expect more. So is Gus Bradley taking a what's his name now? Phil thingy. The Dolphins gaffer who threw Tannehill under the bus, and then Tannehill has since been in fantastic form. It hurts me to say that, but yeah, Tannehill's looked good. I thought he was exceptional last week, in fairness, against the Broncos. So yeah, this is now Gus Bradley trying to light a fire under Blake Bortles. Bortles has he's struggled a little bit over the course of the last few weeks. In fairness, he's not got the greatest O-line in front of him there, but yeah. So that is Gus Bradley on Blake, basically sort your crap out and let's sort of roll on. Everyone's favourite person to get quotes on, Steve Smith. Did anyone see this last week? Steve Smith, he had a bit of a scuffle with Saints Kenny Vaccaro during Monday night's game. And this is what Steve Smith had to say. It's always a pleasure to read these out from Steve Smith. Right, it goes like this. I made a pact with myself that I'd look in the eyes of all my victims before taking their lunch money. Anyone can run a go route. Can you cover these multiple routes I'm going to run? The answer is no. So that is Steve Smith, as feisty as ever. I never want this guy retired. Just roll him out in a wheelchair in about 40 years' time. He could probably still do the business, in fairness. Yeah, so that is Steve Smith there. Did anyone else see this as well? Aaron Rodgers, he drinks the same drink at a press conference, apparently, every single press conference. He's been doing this for years and years, and the morons amongst us assumed that he was taking a pop at Vikings fans. They wear purple. He was drinking what was it now? It's some purple drink, and it was called Crush. And basically, this is what Rodgers had to say on the morons out there, the idiot trolls. He does say, 7 years to all the idiots out there, 7 years. It's PBJ and grape or orange juice. It's been grape for the last 5 years. The first couple of years, it was orange and grape. 7 years. It says, anybody who knows, any of the local media or anyone who's seen me after the game, I always carry that around me. That's probably the only soda drink I've ever drunk right after the game when you've got to get those nutrients back with you. So that's my post-game snack, grape juice. I do like it. Contrary to what anybody thinks, I wasn't trolling anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's comical. I do not do those kind of things. So that is Aaron Rodgers having a bit of a dig there at the morons that just put 2 and 2 together and got 10. It's either that or it's very, very clever that he's just denying trolling. So thoughts on that? Zone coverage FS. Twitter is quiet today. The chat room is quiet. What is wrong with you? I know what's wrong. Usual footy's on the TV and everyone's watching that. Anyway, shame on you. We move on to, as I mentioned at the top of the show, that catch from Odell Beckham. Panthers wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin chimed in on that. This is what he had to say. This is via the Charlotte Observer. I actually noted that one down. All the other quotes, I didn't get from where the source was. Sue me. I've got nothing. I don't care. Anyway, this is what Kelvin Benjamin had to say regarding that catch. It was about a 9. Beckham could have made it a 10 by doing it with his eyes closed. So that is Kelvin Benjamin on Odell Beckham Jr.'s ridiculous catch last week. We move on. It's only a matter of time before we got a Jay Gruden and RG3 quote. So this is what Jay Gruden had to say on the decision in regards to benching RG3. Goes a little like this. I'm prepared to give Colt every opportunity to keep the job. I feel very strongly about Colt. I'm hoping as a pro this helps toughen him up and fuels a fire in his belly. It's our responsibility to put the best player in at that position, and right now it's Colt. So, what is going on with RG3? It's been an absolute... it's frightening, really. It's someone so talented that burst on the scene and had one of the greatest sort of rookie seasons in all of time, in fairness. And then he's just regressing, and there's this sort of like sideshow going on. He does his own press conferences and stuff. There's that wearing thin. It's just... it's an absolute mess in Washington. So, yeah... And as you'd expect, I'm sure I got a... no, I thought I'd written down a RG3 response. I must have got sick of it. Anyway, I don't think he said anything, and if he did, it was probably just some more self-loathing from RG3. And if he ends up with the Jets, oh my word, that is an absolute nightmare waiting to happen. But do you think anyone think that the Redskins would actually give up on RG3? What Redskins fans, what do you think? How do you view this? What's going on? I've only seen a couple of RG3 games this season, in fairness. He's just not looked comfortable on the run, a bit erratic, but I don't know. Anyone that's seen any more games than me regarding RG3, let me know. Let me know what you think. Zone Coverage FS 0161 818 4593 is the number to call. Right then, we have 49ers CEO Jed York on the loss to the Seahawks via Twitter. He said, hashtag 49ers faithful. Thank you for coming out strong tonight. This performance was unacceptable. I apologise for that. So that's a rare move by a CEO, actually taking to Twitter to address the trolls and the masses there. So something different. I quite like that. It's quite refreshing. It's good that someone's willing to come out and say, look, yeah, we didn't do a good job. It was poor on the field. I appreciate the support. And that was that. And what's happened with the 49ers? Since the 49ers have moved from Candlestick Park into, let's see, Levi Stadium now, they're really struggling, aren't they, at the moment? I think they've only won one game there this season, so what's going on there? 49ers fans, hit me up, 0161 818 4593, see if you can shed a little bit of light on that. Right then, the Lions... Lions safety Glover Quinn on Jay Cutler bumping up his stats at the end of the game on Thursday night, the Thanksgiving game. He says... I was like, man, we're going to go back out here and they're going to dink and dunk, get 50, 60 yards, make it look like he had a good day. And then he was trying to score at the end. I'm glad he threw a pick. So that is Lions safety Glover Quinn. I'm happy that Jay Cutler threw a pick at the end of that game. Thought it was quite selfish that he was just going out there to bump his figures up. Right then, my last quote of the day comes from Rex Ryan. We've had this quarterback nonsense for a while, so it's only fair to round it off with probably a team that can just about top the Redskins with nonsense at the quarterback position, in fairness. So Rex Ryan on the switch back to Geno. I think the best thing for this team right now is to play Geno Smith. Does he give you a good chance to win or a chance to win? I believe he does give us a chance to win. It's a Jets decision that Geno's our QB. That's the way it is. Excuse me. So that is your news and a week in words. Right, what else do we have coming up on the show today? We have Fantasy 5 at 5. We'll be here in the next 35 minutes. So, we have a call. This is my man Ian. Hello, sir.
Hey, Mark. Biff.
Hey, Biff. How's it going?
Not too bad yourself.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Again, got over a mini bout of man flu and that, so I've hardly been on any sort of social media and that, but I've battled through, you know how it is.
Yeah, sorry to hear.
I appreciate that. What can I do for you, Biff?
I'm only after getting in the door from a big family meal with the in-laws, and just thought that you're on live, so I said I'd give you a bell.
Oh, I appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, no bother.
How have you been anyway? I've not spoken to you for a while.
Not too bad, not too bad. Trying to get Christmas stuff sorted, and you know yourself.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. I've not even considered Christmas shopping or anything like that. Yeah, it's just something I just do not want to be doing, in fairness.
Kind of like, as I am a Jeff fan, I'm trying to keep my head down.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Oh, dear.
So, I'm only in the door now, and I'm after copping that there's an article out about the Jets keeping an eye on Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Jim Harbaugh to the Jets. I'd like that, in fairness. He's quite tough style, so it wouldn't be somewhat dissimilar from what we've got in Rex. Yeah, he's got a good defence over there. Offensively, he would maybe add a little few pieces to what we're missing, give us a little bit of a bump there. We need a change now. I've said numerous times, I'm a big fan of Rex. I love the big guy, but it's time's come now. We've got to clear out, and if we could get someone of Harbaugh's calibre to come to the Jets, then why not? He took him to the big dance once. They've been to the championship game a couple of times as well. So he's proven that he can assemble a good winning team and invest a good fighting spirit in him. Yourself?
Yeah. He's an offensive coordinator, or he's an offensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's strict, unlike Rex.
Yeah, but that's probably the direction we maybe need to go in. Rex has maybe been too soft at times, and I think that's bit him on the rear end as time has gone by.
Yeah, especially this season with the likes of Geno Smith late for his meetings, Calvin Pryor, first-round pick, he was late for a meeting.
Yeah, it's been a mess, and it's frustrating, isn't it? I don't know, what can you do about it. It's time to once again blow it all up, start again. A few more seasons of misery. We'll reach a level of mediocrity that we've all become accustomed to. It'll go wrong, and then blow it all up again.
If Jim Harbaugh comes in there, there's actually pieces there.
Oh yeah, well you've got a good strong D-line. We need to upgrade the O-line. We've got a decent running game. We've got wide receivers now. It's the quarterback that is the issue.
Yeah, even like Jim Harbaugh actually might fix that.
Yeah, fingers crossed he can.
He was a quarterback at one time, wasn't he?
I
think he was.
I can't remember, to be honest. I'm lazy. I don't go into coaches' history. I can't remember Harbaugh.
Anywho.
Yeah, that's my get out of jail card. Plead ignorance.
They have a really good front seven. I know Harris is free agent and he's getting on long in the tooth, and they need cornerbacks.
Oh yeah,
they need to stick Pryor into strong safety.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. They've got wide receivers. They've got a couple of all-line bits. They need to replace Colin badly, and I think they need to do that in a free agency.
Yeah, the line needs address. I'm torn. What position do you address first? If we had all 32 picks in the first round, we'd still make a mess of it.
Yeah, but even if they get a top 5 pick, it depends on who falls to them.
Yeah, so what would you do? You're getting quarterback. What between Mariota and Winston? What would your preference be there?
I wouldn't touch Mariota, to be honest. He's coming from an offense that doesn't suit the Jets, and I think he'd find it hard to cope in the New York. The offense they play seems to be more simple than the likes of the pro offense, so I'd go for Winston. Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing. I think that the main criticism is as recognising the windows, because you see Mariota, he's throwing to wide receivers that are wide open, and then NFL, the windows are a lot tighter, and what you would assume is covered is open in the NFL. So could he make that transition?
I was listening to a guy on a podcast during the week, and he was telling me that The running quarterbacks, the gimmick is basically dead in the water now at the moment because they're not even lasting 5 minutes in the NFL.
No.
Look at RG3.
Oh, he's not the same player. He looks like now he could be like a bust, borderline bust. And what the Redskins gave up for him, that's got to crucify the fans. And how do you sell that to the fans as well?
How do you sell it to another team?
I don't think you can.
No.
I don't know. What would you get for him realistically? What did they give up? Was it like was it 2 number 2s or a 1 and a couple of 2s? And it was a ridiculous amount, wasn't it?
I think it was a couple of number 2s. It could have been 3 number. It could have been. I'm not sure now, but it was a hell of a lot.
Yeah, they did give up a lot. I mean, what are you looking for get back? I don't know. What is he worth on the open market now? That's something we should put out there. Really,
I don't think you can get a bag of chips from him. Not even from what I'm hearing. There's an awful lot of stuff being leaked out of Washington about him. Like he's lazy. He doesn't. He's not a locker room guy. Bad stuff.
Yeah. So
I'm not a big fan, to be honest.
No, again, I'm pretty much with you on that. From what I've seen, the sort of reports that I've read, like his family seems to get locker room access and no one else does, and his teammates. Was it last year when his teammates weren't picking him up and he was getting knocked down as well?
Was that not this season?
Was it this season as well? I'm sure it was last year as well. Well, whatever it is, it sort of continued into it. There's not a sort of belief there. They're not fighting for their guy.
No, he doesn't seem to. He doesn't seem to care about his team.
I don't think he cares about himself, or maybe he does a little bit too much because he has these press conferences, and I think he needs like re-educating and dealing with the press because he always seems to say the wrong thing. It just comes out wrong, and it makes himself look a fool.
Yeah, well, the only way he'd work out now in the NFL if someone picked him up off free agency and stashed him for a year behind somebody.
Yeah, I was talking about other podcasts. There's one, the Ross Tucker podcast. They had Greg Cassell on there. I don't know if you've checked out. He watches an awful lot of game tape. And he was basically saying that RG3 needs an entire off-season to just learn to sit in the pocket because he's saying he's fundamentally broken.
Yeah, like I think it was there during the week, early in the week, that a press conference came out from their head coach in Washington, and he was saying that he wasn't doing the mechanics properly. He basically threw him under the bus.
Yeah. There was also, I think someone tweeted out a picture on Twitter as well where you could see 5 receivers open.
Yeah.
And he didn't trust what was in front of him, ended up tucking the ball and getting sacked.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he needs a lot of work and fairness. I've seen reports that he'll end up with our Jets. I've seen a report that he'll end up with the Eagles.
No, between him and Jay Cutler, no.
Is that like your worst case scenario, reading a headline where it says the Jets are after Cutler and RG3?
I think I'd punch the TV if that happened.
I'd take Cutler, in fairness. I could live with Cutler. I know what he is.
No, I hate the sight of him.
Yeah, he does look miserable. I think he's just got that demeanour. I think that's just the way he is. But if I had to pick my poison, it'd be rather than RG3 at this moment in time.
Well, to be honest, it's hard to know what way they're going to go. Like, they mightn't even pick a QB in the first round.
Yeah.
Could go second round, third round, later on, stash somebody.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Vic will be on his way out, I would assume now. He's done and dusted. Gino's there on his rookie contract, so he's going to be cheap. So it just makes sense to move him to the backup and then see what happens. There's no veterans out there that would take me fancy, in fairness.
No. Well, to be honest, God help the QB that's going to come in from the draft if they have the likes of the Jets positional coaches still there.
Yeah.
What have they done? They've done nothing.
No, that's very true.
Yeah. I'd like a big change, though, from top to bottom with the Jets.
Are we clearing out the GM as well? Is it gone?
Well, I can't see him gone, to be honest.
You can't now.
No, I think he's staying.
Yeah.
And I think, to be honest, I'd like to see the wide receivers coach gone.
Yeah.
QB coach gone.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth there. Quarterback coach, O-line coach.
Marty has to go.
Morning, Weg.
Yeah.
Because was it you that mentioned before, why did Andy Reid not take him to the Chiefs with him? Yeah, so I think that's now becoming a valid point. But
it's even come out last week, and somebody said it on Twitter about when he was a head coach of Detroit. It was a total bust. It was a train wreck.
I can't remember, to be honest.
Anyway, yeah, I'd like to see the three of them and Rex get the bullet.
Yeah.
On defense, I don't know much from the defensive coordinator, to be honest.
Oh, Dennis
He
Herman.
just seems to be standing there with just the name defensive coordinator, because Rex does it all.
I was just thinking, Rex probably tells him what to whisper into the into the D. It's a pretty redundant job. Yeah, it's crazy.
Apart from that, Carl Dunbar is the only one I'd like to keep kept.
Everyone loves Carl Dunbar, O-line, D-line coach.
Yeah.
Everyone loves him, yeah. He's the only one.
He's the only one. Even if the fans love him, he gets on great with the fans.
Yeah,
He beats fans and everything.
Could we bump him up to defensive coordinator, or is that too big a step?
Well, I don't know if he's good enough.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
It depends on the head coach that comes in.
Yeah.
He might even want him there.
Yeah, that's very true, yeah.
Yeah. But apart from that, your man that's the head scout.
That name escapes me.
Bradford or...
Yeah.
He has to go.
Oh, yeah.
He's just sitting there taking a paycheck. Robbery.
Yeah. There's a few of them doing that.
Yeah, there is. What has Sanjay Lau done since he came in?
Pretty much what you just said, really. Just taking a paycheck, gone home, sat in his mansion, and enjoyed the spoils of life.
Yeah. Woody Johnson needs to back up the garbage truck and just dump everybody into it.
Yeah, that's it. Tip them all in the Hudson, and I've done.
Yeah. Apart from Harbaugh, who do you want? Who would you like to see?
In all honesty, I've not given it a great deal of thought outside Harbour, because I know that he's going to be the one that should be moving on. The Seahawks offensive coordinator, what's his name? Bevel. Yeah, I've seen his name linked a few times.
Somebody mentioned it to me about your man from the Colts. Their offensive coordinator.
What's his name now? I should know this. I've got it in front of me somewhere. Where is it now? I can't see it. Oh, Pep Hamilton.
Yes.
Yeah. I knew it was there somewhere.
Yes. It's either that or go down to the college ranks.
Yeah, I don't know a great deal about college football, in fairness, so I wouldn't have a clue there.
Yeah. 1 second, I have a knock at the door.
Okay. While Biff answers his front door, if you want to call the show, the number is 0161 818 4593. Keep those tweets coming in at Zone Coverage FS. I don't know what Biff's doing. He should be back in 1 moment. Yeah, beyond that, go to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, leave us ratings, feedback, and subscribe and help spread the word. I heard a door slam, so fingers crossed Biff's let whoever's in. I was just saying, Biff, then, just get a few tweets and that coming to the show. Who was at the door, out of curiosity? Let's just go completely off the rails.
To be honest, not a clue. We're looking for somebody.
It sounded like you'd let him in and you didn't know who it was.
No, the door and the computer was in one hand, the door handle was in the other hand.
All right, fair enough. So, yeah, we've taken things to a whole new level on Zone Coverage today.
I like to do my bit.
Yeah, you do. There's no F-bombs this week, but we've had a random knock at the door, so why not, eh?
No, I've learned.
It's hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah. What were we talking about?
We were going on to head coaches at the college level. I was going to let you take the floor with this one because I do not know my head coaches in the college game.
Well, to be honest, depends on who you're going to go for. Like your man from Auburn could be the top guy to go for, and he's my favourite. Malzahn.
Yeah.
I like the way the players play from his offensive coordinator, or he was an offensive coordinator. I think he was a QB coordinator as well. The players seem to really play hard for him, and he plays fast football.
Yeah. What was that noise, Biff?
That's my phone.
Good, yeah. It's
all happening now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Richard Tinley at Tinley24. He's just tweeted in Larry Grayson. I don't know that name. Do you?
Larry Grayson shut the door.
Yeah. What is that? Is that a joke? If that's a joke, that's gone way over my head. It probably made a complete fool of myself. But hey ho.
Yeah, Richie's probably on the mushrooms again.
Oh dear, Biff, you're a legend.
So,
man.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Like, who's going to suit the NFL? That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a hard transition, isn't it, to make. Chip Kelly's done okay. He's come in and sort of revolutionised with all this sports science nonsense and sleep studies, and he's gone a bit way over the top. But he seems to be doing a decent job with the Eagles.
Yeah. But it's like it could be a swing and a miss. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, your man with the Eagles, he was a big hit with them.
Yeah, he's done well as Chip Kelly.
Yeah, and you could end up bringing Malzahn on. He could be a big bust like, what's his name, from Nick Saban.
Yes, yeah. Excellent at the college level, doesn't transition into the NFL.
So, who knows?
Well, I'm sure it'll all unfold. It's only a few months away now, isn't it? Come New Year, new coaches, new regime, we shall see what happens. But I would imagine it'll be the same old misery.
Yeah.
Right then, Biff, I appreciate the call, mate. Anything else I can do you for?
No, I'm going to head off now.
Okie doke then, mate. Enjoy your day and keep those random strangers from knocking at your door.
Yeah. All right, cheerio.
Okie doke then, Biff. Appreciate the call, mate. Take care, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. And that is Biff there, a fellow Jets fan over in Ireland. You can follow him on Twitter at BiffarooJet. Just random as Biff. If he's not dropping an F-bomb, he's got strange folk knocking at the door. Right then, let's get into the sort of main feature that I wanted to dig into before we get to the Fantasy 5 at 5. We also have the last minute news coming up from Huddle Magazine around about 5:15. So we've got half an hour to go. So the main sort of premise for this episode was Down the Stretch AFC. And I'm just going to have a look at the team's upcoming opponents, and I had a little dig into the background over the course of the last few years and see. Well, I was just looking basically how each team had fared during the course of the last 5 games. So I'll start with the AFC East. It pretty much looks like the Pats are going to win this division for what feels like the 1 millionth time on the bounce. They sit there top of the division 9-2. The remaining games, they've got the Packers tonight, which should be a belting game. They then at the Chargers, they've got the Dolphins at home, they're at Jets, and they've got the Bills. Bills and the Dolphins both sitting at 6-5. I feel that both those teams just even stand a chance. They've got to beat the Pats, and that's not something that happens. I know that the Finns knocked them off earlier on in the year. Can they do that again? It's a big ask. Tannehill is playing some excellent football. Well, we shall see. For the Bills, they've got the Browns. They're then at the Broncos and Packers. And those 2 games. And then they've got the at Raiders and at Pats. So 3 of their last 5 games. It's really, really difficult in fairness. So looking at the Bills, you could probably count them out. Now, sorry, Bills fans. You've had a good season on your part. You give my Jets a good beat down twice this year. So at least you can take that and gloat. As for the Dolphins, they're at the Jets. That is the Monday night game. That's on Eurosport, 1:30 in the morning. They then got the Ravens at home, then at the Pats, the Vikings, and then the Jets. So again, can the Dolphins win out? Basically, it's what they're going to have to do. But they're going to have to win out, and that includes a win over the Pats, and I hope that the Patriots slip up. I know they've got the Packers and Chargers next couple of games, so maybe we usually push them close, but it's not going to happen anymore, is it, in fairness? We are struggling. As for the records over the course of the last 3 seasons, in 2013 the Patriots won 4 of the last 5 games of the season, and then in 2012 did exactly the same, winning 4 of the last 5. 2011 they won all 5 of the last 5 remaining games. I had to go back until 2000 to when the Pats actually had a losing record over the course of the last 5 games. And in the 2000 season, they won 2 of the last 5. So that's going back 14 seasons. So the odds are stacked firmly in the Patriots' favour. The Bills and the Dolphins, they've give a good fight this season, and credit to them both. Yeah, especially I've never been overly keen on Tannehill, but I will eat a bit of humble pie here. He's playing some good football. The Bills, that front 7 is outstanding, very, very impressive. They've got a very good young team going forward. They just need a quarterback to do the Bills, and I think they'll cause people some problems in the next year or two. Right then, on to the AFC West. This, for me, is a very, very intriguing division. It's got some tough schedules, especially if you are the San Diego Chargers. As it currently stands, the Broncos lead the way, 8-3. The Chiefs and Chargers both sit there, 7-4. Today, the Broncos and the Chiefs square off. After that, the Broncos face the Bills. They're then at the Chargers, at Bengals, and they finish off with the Raiders. So that is 3 tough road games, in fairness. They got, at the Chiefs, at Chargers, at Bengals, and division games as well, so not going to be easy there. The Chiefs, they got, their schedule's just as brutal. They've got, obviously, the Broncos today. They then go to the Arizona Cardinals, got the Raiders at home, then to the Steelers, gonna, I would imagine, still be in the hunt there. And then they finish off with the Chargers at home. I forgot to write down the Chargers schedule. This is the one. Chargers schedule is absolutely brutal. At the Ravens today, Patriots at home, Broncos at home, at the 49ers, and they finish off at the Chiefs. That is a tough schedule. But I did find this interesting snippet. I'll go back for the games now. The Chargers in 2013, they won 4 of the last 5 home games. Then in 2012, they won 3 of the last 5 home games, not just home games. And then in 11, they won 4 of the last 5 games. And since the 06 season, during the last 5 games of the season, the San Diego Chargers are 33-7. So that's since 06, the Chargers are 33-7. So that is there's some hope there. You can look at that schedule, and as a Chargers fan, rightfully so, you can be absolutely scared to death of that it's not a good look. So yeah, fingers crossed that the Chargers maybe pull something out of the bag there. So 33-7 over the course, since 06, last 5 games of the season. Looking at the Broncos, in 2012, they won 4 of the last 2013, 4 of the last 5 games. In 12, they won all 5 games. 2011, they won 2 of the last 5 games. So under Manning, good. Under Tebow and everyone else wants it. I forget who it was now. Yeah, but they're not so good. As for the Chiefs, in 2013, they won 2 of the last 5 home games. Then in 2012, they only won 1 of the last 5 remaining games. 2011, they won 3 of the last 5 home games. We have to go back to 2004 when the Chiefs last finished on a really strong note. In 2004, they won 4 of the last 5 games. So the AFC West, I think today is the big game. Winners and Broncos and Chiefs, I can see going on to win the division. Do have a little bit of a noise popping up here, so hopefully it's not fading too much. A few technical difficulties my end. That seems to be solved now, so apologies if you've heard a little bit of interference and it jumping in and out there. I'm not really sure what's going on. Right then, on into the AFC North. We have the Cincinnati Bengals at the top of there now, 7-3-1. The Browns, Ravens and Steelers, all 7-4. It's absolute madness. If I was a betting man, and I know that Noel at Blue Lion Man, he likes a good gamble every now and again, I'd have to go Ravens here. I fancy the Ravens to do it. The Ravens, their run-in is as follows. Chargers at home today. They then at the Dolphins. They got the Jaguars, at Texans, and they finish off with the Browns. The Steelers, they've got the Saints today, which is a must-win game for the Saints, and their division is the complete flip side of this. It's the battle of the bad teams. Someone's going to get in with an absolutely shambolic record, and the Saints lost the last 3 home games. But anyway, I'm off on a random tangent. Back to the Steelers. After the Saints, they've got a trip to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. They're then at the Falcons, and they've got the Chiefs at home, and then they square off again against the Bengals. As for the Cleveland Browns, Simon's Cleveland Browns, he will tell you, they are at the Bills today. They then got the Colts at home, followed by the Bengals at home. They then travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers, and they finish off with the Ravens. The Bengals, they've got the Tampa Bay Bucks today away, and then they have the Steelers at home, the Browns on the road, Broncos at home, and finish off with the Steelers. Very, very interesting division this is. Like I said, if I was a betting man, I'd probably go Ravens, but yeah, it's a tough one to call. Right then, looking at their record over the last few games, over the course of the last 3 seasons, the Bengals in 2013, they actually won 4 of the last 5 games. They did the same in 2012, winning 4 of the last 5. In 11, they won 2 of the last 5 games. So yeah, that is the Bengals there. I did write a stat down for that, but for some reason it's not making sense when I read that back. Anyway, on to the Ravens. The Ravens in 2013, they won 3 of their last 5 games. In 2012, they won 1 of the last 5 games. And then in 2011, they won 4 of their last 5 games. And the last 7 seasons, they've only lost more games than they've won. Once that's happened. So over the course of the last 5 games of the season, over 7 seasons, what is it now? The Ravens only have a losing record just the once. So basically, the Ravens usually finish strong. Right on to the Steelers. The Steelers, they've won 3 of the last 5 games last year. In 2012, they won 2. 2011, they won 4 of the last 5 last games. Anyway, 3 out of the last 6 years, the Steelers have gone 4-1 over the course of the last 5 games. So again, the Steelers tend to finish strong. And then we move on to the Browns, who, spoiler alert, don't finish the season all that well. Last year, they didn't win a game out of the last 5 games. 2012, they won 2 of the last 5 games. In 2011, they reverted back to last season's form, winning no games of the last 5. Is there hope? Well, hopefully, yes, there is. Because in 2009, they were on a 7-game losing streak, 1 win all season. And they went on to win 4 of the last 5 games. So Browns fans, excuse me, there's glimmers of hope for everyone, really, reading in between the stat lines there. So that is that, really, for the AFC North. Who's going to win? I said Ravens. Looking at those schedules, the divisional games are key, I feel, on this division. Whoever wins those matchups, it's for the taking. The Bengals play the Steelers twice. That could be them done. It's anyone's. Waste your money at will. On to the AFC South. We've got the Colts here, 7-4. The Texans are the only real contenders, I guess. Next up in line at 5-6. Titans 2-9. Jags 1-10. As for the Colts, they've got the Redskins today at the Cleveland Browns. Then they face the Texans at home. They do have the Dallas Cowboys away and the Titans, so a couple of road trips to end the season. The Texans, they faced the Titans today. They then at the Jacksonville Jaguars, at the Colts, Ravens at home, and Jags at home. So the scenario sort of plays out like this. Let's say the Colts win the next 2 games. That leaves them at 9-4. Texans do the same. They'd then be 8-6. They play each other. Let's say the Texans win, leaving them at 9-6. The Colts at 9-6. The Colts then go to the Cowboys. You could lose that. The Cowboys lost the other day, so you never know. I know it's a long shot, but Texans fans, there's a little glimmer of hope. Right then, let's have a look at the records. As for the Colts, won 4 of their last 5 games last year. Did the same in 2012. And then in 11, it was the Suck for Luck campaign. So they won 2 of the last 5 games and nearly ended up with RG3. How different would things be now if RG3 had been a Colt? Would it have panned out the same? Interesting. As for the Texans, they lost all 5 games last year. Because they were on that crazy losing streak, weren't they? And then in 2012, they only won 2 of the last 5 home games. I keep saying home, my word. And in 2011, they won 2 of the last 5 games. So the South, there is a scenario where the Texans can win it, but it's a big ask in fairness. So thoughts on that? Who do you think's going to prevail into the off-season, take the division there? 0161 818 4593 is the number to call. T Mister on Skype, TEECE Mister. Right then, so coming up we have Fantasy 5 at 5. Should have a call from Simon in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Simon, if you want to go early, I'm ready, buddy. I am ready. We will look at the fixtures for this week. We will then have a look at the standings. Let's have a look at the playoff picture as it currently stands. And that'll probably about round us up for today's show. A quiet show, in fairness. Let's have a look on Twitter. At RocketRon_65 says, great to hear the Bifster again. I would take Harbour in a heartbeat. #Jets. Oh yes, Ron reverts back to the conversation we were having about Jim Harbour. He says, I seem to remember Harbour coming off the bench against the Jets 21 points down and leading them to a comeback victory. At Tinley24, he does have a new 3-round mock out this week on Draft Tech, so feel free to check that out. I'll actually give that a little retweet there. So at Tinley24, never too early to get into your draft stuff there, so give him a follow and check out that latest draft. Apart from that, it's very, very quiet today on Twitter. No one's even been in the chat room. What's going on? Where is everyone? Right then, moving on. Let's what should we do? Let's have a look at the fixtures. Right, fixtures for today. Your games on Sky, we have the Steelers and Saints 6 o'clock game today. The Packers and the Patriots, that is your 9:25 PM game on Sky. Yeah, the Broncos Chiefs are your Channel 4 game at 1:30. Then, as mentioned earlier, the Jets and the Dolphins square off on Monday night, Tuesday morning, 1:30 AM. The Thursday night games that were played, we had the Chicago Bears lose 17-34 to the Detroit Lions. Megatron went off, looked absolutely fantastic. And the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 33-10. The Seattle Seahawks won 19-3 against the 49ers, as the 49ers lost once again in their new snazzy stadium. So that's what happened. And then today's fixtures, what do we have? Washington at the Indianapolis Colts. We have the Titans at Houston. We have Cleveland at Buffalo. Chargers at the Ravens. Giants at Jacksonville. That's a battle of 2 bad teams if ever I've seen one. We have the Bengals at the Bucks. We have the Raiders at the Rams. That's another battle of 2 poor teams. Could the Raiders actually get a second win of the season? The Rams look much improved, to be fair. Saints, Steelers. We have the Panthers at the Vikings. We have Arizona, who need to bounce back from that defeat last week against the Seahawks. They travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. We then have the Pats at the Packers. Broncos at Chiefs, and then we finish off Monday night with the Dolphins at the Jets. So Simon, whenever you are ready, sir, feel free to ring with the Fantasy 5 at 5. Beyond the Fantasy 5 at 5, what do we have? We can have a look at the standings. I'll have a look at the division, see what's going on there. We will also have a look at the playoff picture currently as it stands. And I did take some notes from the 2 games that I watched, so we could have a look at that if we like. We'll have a little delve into that. But beyond that, as I just fill for the moment, he's here now. Bang on the button. Hello, I'm guessing Simon.
Good afternoon, Mark. How are you, sir?
I am very well, sir. How are you?
Brilliant, thank you. Brilliant. Still covered in dust because I'm still having some renovation work done on the house, but apart from that, not too bad. I'm looking forward to a really good night of American football.
Yeah, there's some fantastic fixtures again.
There is, isn't there? And especially I'm sure you've talked about it already, the Green Bay New England looks like it could be a classic.
Yeah, everyone seems to be touting that as like a Super Bowl preview.
Potentially, yes. But you never know. You never know. We've got a few other good sides in there, particularly in the NFC. I think perhaps more so than the AFC this year. But a few contenders for Green Bay. But we shall see. The Seahawks still interest me moving forward. I think they sort of seem to be coming together a little bit better now. Can the Cardinals hang on? That's another massive question moving forward. So the Cowboys, how good actually are they? Just been blown out by Philadelphia, haven't they, on Thursday night?
Yeah.
So again, and the Eagles themselves as well with that really potent offense. So, in my opinion, there's a few more contenders in the NFC than there seems to be in the AFC at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. It's like I say, we're reaching that sort of boiling point now. It's critical, isn't it, down the stretch? Who's going to step up and take charge?
Absolutely, and sometimes you get a team with sort of a pretty sort of 0.5, 0.6 record that suddenly starts putting a run together, just for the playoffs, scrapes into the playoffs and does really well in sort of the wild card game, divisional playoff round, and could be a surprise moving forward.
So I think it's only fair that we actually do a bit of gloating this week. We got some right on the fantasy FUDs.
Well, it's a first time this year, isn't it? There's a first time for everything. Let's put it out there. But yeah, we got a few right last year. Last year.
Oh wow, was it there that long?
Certainly last week. Isaiah Crowell for the Browns was one of them. Definitely, certainly from a highlight from my point of view. Anyway, so 2 touchdowns, 100+ yards rushing. So that was definitely a personal highlight for me for a Browns win as well. But there's a couple of others as well that did pretty well. So yeah, hopefully we can continue that this week.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, and we did say the Browns would win as well, so that's all good.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to predict the Browns to lose every week now, and yourself and Russell on the Dundee NFL podcast. If you can keep going saying the Browns will win, I think you're the lucky mascots.
Yeah, that's what you want, doing sort of trying to out-psych yourself, just so you don't feel the pain because you say, I told you we were going to lose.
Exactly.
A wise man.
Right, should we go for it?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay, right. My first, just a bit of a mishmash first of all this week is my top 10 waiver wire pickups for anybody out there. Now, we mentioned the running back Isaiah Crowell for the Browns. He's still available, amazingly, on some leagues, so have a look at him. Again, LeGarrette Blount, we talked about, I think, last week as well, moving, or we mentioned him briefly, he's moved back to the Patriots, I think it is, against the Packers, and he seemed to get quite a few touches last week as well. So again, if anybody's out there struggling for running back cover, Blount possibly still available. One that Martin from Dundee NFL picked up actually in the pre-season here is the running back Latavius Murray for the Oakland Raiders. He's doing pretty well too at the moment, in spite of some sort of higher profile names at the Raiders. So again, possibly somebody else to consider. Number 4 on the waiver wire pickup is Robert Woods, the wide receiver for the Bills. Now they're against the Browns this week, so again, fairly decent-ish matchup, but we shall see on that one. Quarterback Josh McCown, Buccaneers. Now he's back as the starting quarterback of the Bucs. Bucs seem to have picked up a little bit, certainly in terms of offense. And the Bengals, you never know how they're going to perform week in, week out, although they're doing all right at the moment. A few others just to finish off in the top 10 waiver wire. Kyle Orton, quarterback for the Bills. Running back Bryce Brown. We've got a few Bills in here today. Titan Delaney Walker as well for the Titans. He seems to be doing okay this season. Again, still available on lots of leagues out there. Wide receiver Kenny Stills at number 9 for the Saints against the Steelers. He's getting quite a few targets from Drew Brees of late. So again, potentially a good pickup. And finally, the wide receiver Jarvis Landry for the Dolphins. They're against the Jets this week. Could be a decent matchup there after the Jets have been blown out last week. So sorry, Mark. Again on that one. So yeah, just a few to consider there in case that anybody's desperate for any cover, and you might be worth checking see if these guys are still available. Okay, number 2. just somebody to sit really this week on the matchup. I never really sort of trust anybody going against the Cardinals for obvious reasons this season because their defense has been performing stellar. But did you know that only one quarterback has broken through the 20-point game against the Cardinals defense this season?
No, I didn't know that. No, that's fine.
Any guesses who that might be?
I'm trying to think of the schedule now and who they've played. Oh, it's cut off. Brutal. Oh, no. That gave me a chance to have a look. Simon, you've cut off. Right then, so who was that? The Cardinals only surrendered 20 points to a quarterback the once. Where's the schedule? Where's the schedule when you need it? I can't find it. Simon, give us a ring back, buddy. Last week we got through an entire show without the calls fading in, and we failed miserably today already. So still time once Simon's done here, folks. If you want to call in, it's 0161 818 4593. There should be Simon back with us now. Hello, sir.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, there's that awkward...
We did so well last week. I don't think we got cut off last week, did we, as per usual?
Yeah, I was just saying that we made it through last week's show, and you left on a tease. I was trying to open up a web page and try and find the answer, but I failed.
It's Nick Foles.
Nick Foles, enough. Yes.
Early on in the season for the Eagles, he's the only quarterback that's broken through the 20-point game against the Cardinals D this week. And again, Russell Wilson for the Seahawks did really, really well. But again, a lot of that was the rushing for the ground last week when they beat the Cardinals. So against the Cardinals this week is Matt Ryan for the Atlanta Falcons. Been performing okay, but not quite up to the usual Matt Ryan standards. And that goes for the Falcons as a whole. So I'd be the way the Falcons are playing at the moment. Again, 4-7, but still in with a chance of winning that pretty poor NFC South this year. If you've got Matt Ryan, anybody out there who's got Matt Ryan, see if you've got a reserve. Anybody who've got a reserve that would probably play him against certainly sit Matt Ryan against the matchup with the Cardinals this week. Again, somebody else to consider sitting as well is Phillip Rivers. The Chargers playing against the Ravens. That Ravens D is pretty decent, as it always is. So again, Phillip Rivers, last few weeks, been pretty unpredictable after his stellar start to the season.
Yeah, it's gone downhill rapidly, hasn't Rivers? He's been a mess, hasn't he? Because he started off, was about the first 4 or 5 games, he looked like a league MVP at one point.
Oh, he did, didn't he? He was absolutely fantastic, wasn't he? He was looking like the best quarterback in the league by a long way.
Oh, again, we've lost the call again. After making it through last week, Skype has returned to bite us on the ass. Never mind. Hopefully Simon will be joining us again in a moment as we try third time lucky, which is usually, it's consistent anyway. We usually get 3 phone calls from Simon. Again, 0161 818 4593. Keep those tweets coming in at Zone Coverage FS moving forward. iTunes and all that. Just get on there, leave us ratings, rankings, and a little bit of feedback. Tell us what you love about the show, what you don't like about the show. Feel free, don't hold back. I don't mind, I can take it. I'm a Jets fan. Look at the misery I have to endure. So a few harsh comments, it'll be no water off a duck's back, so they say. Just exchanged a couple of texts with Tom, so Huddle Magazine will be on the show in about 5-6 minutes when we finished up here with Simon. He will be bringing you the latest news there, so that's at Huddle Magazine. While I await Simon's frantic fidgeting behind the scenes as he tries to call back in the show, be sure to check out their fantasy podcast at Dundee NFL. It's 4th Down and Out as well, so please go check that out. I think Simon may have fallen off the face of the planet at the moment. We can't seem to reconnect there, so whilst Simon tries to sort that out, let's have a look. I've done the fixtures. Let's have a look at the standings. We will dial up the standings. Tom's coming on very soon. So we go into the AFC East. I know I've run through these earlier on, but I am basically just filling. So the Pats sit there 9-2, Dolphins 6-5. Bills 6-5, Jets 9-2. Patriots are on a 7-game winning streak at the moment. Into the AFC North, we have the Bengals 7-3-1, as we mentioned. Everyone else is on 7-4. Everyone is on a winning streak. Bengals won the last 2. Andy Dalton, I've been ribbing, has been outstanding, so I'll eat humble pie in a moment. Hello, Simon.
good afternoon. It's like Groundhog Day.
I know, yeah. I was just saying 3 times is our average, so we're consistent, if nothing else.
Oh, I better start speaking faster. Right, where did we get to? I just finished off with Andre Ellington, if you're running back coverage there. I'm going to talk about Martavis Bryant. He's the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver. Now, we know that Antonio Brown is definitely one of the best wide receivers in the league. Has been for a few years. Definitely is this season. Probably definitely top 5, I would say. So the Saints D is probably going to multiple coverage, against Antonio Brown, and probably fail as they've been doing all season, to be honest. So who's going to cover the sort of the big speedy wide receiver, and he's a rookie as well, is Martavis Bryant. I definitely have him in my lineup if I had him. Unfortunately, I don't. But if he can be picked up out there, or anybody who's perhaps got him thinking about putting him on the bench, I would probably start him certainly at a wide receiver 3 position or a flex position, definitely. And again, consider Keenan Allen. He's available as San Diego wide receiver at Baltimore, potentially. Mohamed Sanu for Cincinnati. Again, I picked him up on the waiver wire a couple of weeks ago, actually. Got me quite a few good points over the last couple of weeks. He's there at Tampa Bay, so you'd probably fancy his chances for... he's the number 2 wide receiver at the Bengals. Again, Brandon LaFell, a little bit in and out in terms of points, but something to consider if you're struggling at wide receiver. And I've already mentioned Jarvis Landry, the Miami Dolphins, potentially against a good matchup against a poor, New York Jets secondary. And the last one, before we get cut off again, number 5. I always mention a defence, don't I, every week. It's always good to sort of get something different in. I'm going for the Giants' defence at the Jags this week. Tom Coughlin's the Giants head coach. This unit's... pretty good at interceptions, in top 10 in terms of interceptions. They've got Jason Pierre-Paul there in terms of the front 7, is very disruptive up front. Going to put a lot of pressure on the Jaguars' rookie quarterback Blake Bortles, who's prone to making quite a few rookie mistakes, shall we say, on that one. So definitely, again, potentially, struggling for a defense or looking for some extra points there. I'm going to put it out there, pick the Giants defense this week at the Jags. That's put the mockers on the Giants completely. It won't be the first time this season the mockers on the Giants. Yeah. So sorry to all Giants fans out there, but I'm going for your defense and special teams this week. Some other good matchups potentially as well. You've got the Colts against Washington. Now the Colts defense hasn't been great this season, but again, it's potentially a good matchup this week. RG3's been benched, I believe, and Colt McCoy's the starter, so you're not quite sure what you're going to get with McCoy, although he's done quite well so far this season. The Dolphins D as well, against the New York Jets. And we talked about Phillip Rivers potentially benching him if you got him in your team. Again, that Ravens D looking pretty good there in terms of a matchup against the Chargers. And another one as well, potentially, is the Vikings D. They're playing a poor Carolina unit today. So some defensive stroke special teams options for everybody out there just to finish off with.
Yeah, and it's not as brutal as start all Giants, so it's just start Giants defense, so...
Yeah, I'm never going to live that one down. I'm a start all your Giants.
No.
What did they get? What did they get? About 3 points altogether, and it was a disaster, isn't it? But you can't win them all.
These things happen, not to worry. Right then.
So that's it for this week.
Brilliant. Latest podcast, Simon. A quick plug of that, matey, if you want.
Yeah, we just apologies for the Dundee NFL Fourth Down Out podcast listeners. We didn't manage to get a podcast in this week. Myself and Russell will be back to normal next week, so there will be a Dundee NFL Fourth Down and Out podcast in the forthcoming week. So we'll review the Week 13 games and look forward to Week 14, the key part of the season. You can also contact us via Twitter at Dundee NFL. On that, and if you want to email us, by all means do so, and that's at dundeenfl@gmail.com.
Fantastic stuff, buddy. And even if you didn't drop one last week, there's nothing stopping them going back and listening to past episodes to check out you guys.
There is an extensive range of podcasts going back quite a few years. Let's say 2 or 3 years at least, I would say, of varying quality, shall we say. But yeah, some great interviews as well. So, Jeff Reinbold, we've interviewed, Ross Tucker, people like that from the NFL, Ernie Spiner, the Super Bowl winning running back, which was an absolute pleasure for me personally to do that as well. And we're hoping to get some of these guys back on again in the near future too. So that should be worth looking out for.
Awesome stuff. So that is the ultimate sell hour end then. So go check that out at Dundee NFL Fourth Down and Out.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mike.
Right, Simon, I appreciate you coming on and providing us with the insight, mate. And I shall speak to you in due course.
Absolute pleasure. Have a great evening.
You too, sir. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, Simon. Bye, mate.
Bye-bye now.
Bye. And that was your latest fantasy advice from Simon there at Dundee NFL. So you've still got time, actually. You've got 45 minutes. Get your tweets over to at Dundee NFL on Twitter. Tom has just messaged me. He is good to go. So, Tom, if you are listening, buddy, yeah, I am set when you are. So feel free to hit up the show. So Tom should be calling in any second now, basically, with sort of last-minute news, players being sat, rested, or not travelled, and so on and so on. If we have time, I will go through the NFC. I think I got down. Where did I get down to? Yeah, AFC South. I'll run down that division for you. Quick glance at the playoffs if we have time. Last 15 minutes of the show. So just awaiting now. Huddle Magazine, at Huddle Magazine. Go follow them out. I do believe their latest issue should be out soon. Will it be in the first tomorrow? I'm sure Tom will shed some light on that in a moment. Oh, in the meantime, keep the tweets coming in. It's been quiet today at Zone Coverage FS. This should be Tom now. So, hello. Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, buddy. Not too bad.
I'm coming through loud and clear.
Yeah, you're good, mate. Yeah, I can hear a bit of fuzzy in the background, but I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, that'll be the train travelling, mate.
You're on the train again. You're doing some travelling of late.
I certainly am, mate. Well, it's all part of our relocation from Scotland to the south of England, which should be complete later this month. So for the last couple of games and into the playoffs, there'll be no travelling and things will go back to normal as far as me delivering the news. So
that'll be good then.
Well, just these next few weeks. You still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, buddy, yeah.
Yeah, as I say, it's just these next few weeks. So, I mean, once that's all complete and I'm back to normal service just before Christmas, so we should be good by then.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I mean, a fairly quiet week this week in terms of news around the NFL. Probably something to do with the 3 games that were played on Thursday night, in all honesty.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on. Arian Foster's active today, Tennessee at Houston, so he's going to play. Moving over to Buffalo, Cleveland, the Browns are saying that Josh Gordon was actually on a leash last week and they exceeded expectations. So, as such, the leash is off today and he's free. He's got free reign to do what he wants. So that's quite a scary prospect.
Yeah,
because
he got 120 odd yards.
120 odd yards on the leash. Imagine what he could achieve on it.
That is a frightening thought, that is.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, in terms of Buffalo, Jim Kelly today will lead the Buffalo team out onto the field, all to do with his health problems and his ongoing commitment to the Buffalo Bills. So he'll lead the team out onto the field today. Moving over to New Orleans, Pittsburgh at New Orleans. AFC North teams are 10-1 against NFC South teams this season. The Bucs are the only team to beat an AFC North team, and that team was the Steelers. So New Orleans hoping to become the second team to do that. And half of the Steelers' passes for touchdowns allowed this season have been against tight ends. So with Jimmy Graham in the tight end position for the Saints, that's obviously a worry for their defense. They're going to look at stopping Graham by using multiple to put Breeze off his stride. Well, that's the plan according to some of their players.
Yeah.
You still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you, buddy, yeah.
In the game that many are filling are the Super Bowl preview.
Oh, not anymore. It's gone a bit funny. And we seem to have lost Tom there. I don't know if he's going to come back. Are you still there, Tom?
Yeah, I can still hear you, mate. I can still hear you loud and clear.
Oh, it must have gone through a tunnel. It just faded for a second.
Bit of a black spot. I was just saying, the game that's been billed as Super Bowl previews, Green Bay.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a factor there. Reports saying that by the end of the game, so there isn't any problems. Aaron Rodgers is he said that he's been studying Brady since the beginning of his career, and he also.
Oh, we seem to be losing you, Tom.
Hello.
Yeah, it just seems to be losing you every now and again, mate. No, I think he's gone there. I'm not really sure what's gone on there with Tom. fingers crossed that audio will improve. Like he did say, he is on the train there, so we will try and figure that out, see if he can ring back. A bit sketchy, so apologies if you missed any of that. I didn't hear much of it myself, in fairness. He was on about the Packers and the Patriots game, so we shall see if Tom rings back in a moment, but beyond that, we're going to shut down the lines for today. We've got 10 minutes left. I think he's back now, so Tom?
Hello, mate. Apologies about that.
Oh, one of them things, mate. You're on the train. It's understandable.
Yeah, as I say, the Super Bowl preview, New England versus Green Bay. Rodgers has been saying that he studied Brady since the beginning of his career, and he always looked at Tom Brady handles common opponents even to this day. So quite a lot said by him that's respectful towards Brady.
Yeah.
And the Packers are saying that the plan going into the game is to run the football, try to slow down the Patriots' offense and keep them off the field. But equally, the Patriots are saying they're expecting to run the ball early, but not for the same reason. They're facing a Green Bay run defense that's ranked 30th in the NFL, and they feel that they can exploit that defense. So, two teams coming into it with quite similar game plans, but for very different reasons. So, it could be an interesting game as it develops and play action set up towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think I am as well, and I think telling it as the Super Bowl preview could be it's quite a realistic title, I think, at this moment in time. So it could well be a good game, a bit of a stager for what could eventually be the Super Bowl.
Yeah, a little appetizer for us all.
Oh yeah, and see how they handle each other in regular season. Give them a couple of months to play other opponents, and then come back and play each other again. Yeah. So yeah, it could be an interesting one. Luckily, I'm just about coming into a station, so my signal's probably improving at the wrong time.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit better. There was some moments where he sounded like a Dalek, if I'm honest.
Well, as long as the news came across, mate, I mean, that's all that counts, I suppose. But yeah, as I say, this travelling malarkey each week really interfering with getting the news over to you, but I'll do my best.
No, it's much appreciated, buddy. You're battling technology and tunnels.
Well, this is it. As I say, mate, so what's your thoughts on this weekend's fixtures? What are you looking forward to, apart from Green Bay?
I've penciled in the Chiefs and Broncos game. I believe the winner of that will go on to win the division.
Yeah, I think that's quite a fair comment. It should be quite interesting because, I mean, I think they were saying on NFL Network earlier on today that no Chiefs wide receivers caught a pass for touchdown yet.
No, it's frightening that, isn't it? And they're still playing well. If only they beat the Raiders, they let themselves down. Cause I was impressed because I watched the Chiefs knock off the Seahawks a couple of weeks ago, and I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah. This is it, mate. So it's one of them. It'll be interesting to see how they handle them today. So, I mean, the other side of that is the Broncos' productivity's really just dropped off in the last. I mean, I know they picked up last week, but it's really bizarre how they seem to have dropped off.
Yeah, say the Broncos. What they've got they're at the Chargers and at the Bengals as well, and road games to come.
They're not. Neither of them's easy games, especially as the AFC.
Oh, he's gone. He said it. I thought he said his signal was improving, and yet he's fell completely off the air. Anyway, Tom may or may not ring back. If he does, then we'll embrace that. But if not, go over to @Huddle Magazine on Twitter and www.huddlemagazine.com and pre-order all your copies and that there. I'm sure they've still got some back issues in stock. If not, I'm sure we will correct that as we go. He's back again now. Tom?
Hello, mate. Apologies about that.
I was just plugging away your website and magazine, buddy. That was all.
Well, excellent, mate. Excellent news. Erin Coscarelli issues out live later on today. So, I mean, that's a good one. Talk with the NFL AM host of NFL Network. So, good article. Really great person to speak to, and get over there some good stuff.
And to look at.
Back. Say again?
And to look at.
Well, yeah, there is that.
That one threw you off of it.
Well, it's just one of them things. You've got to try and remain professional,
I know, yeah.
But,
that's something I'll never be.
It's not easy. It's not easy when dealing with Erin Coscarelli.
No, I can't imagine it is.
But yeah, in terms of other stuff in there, we've got Odell Beckham in the rookie profile. Not intentional after the catch, but it just seems to have fallen at the right time. We advertised that we would do it a few weeks back and Odell Beckham preview, and then he went and did that catch, didn't he? So
yeah, it's perfect timing your end.
Yeah, he's kind of playing up to it for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He speaks to us and then says, I'll go and do something for you guys. So that, suits me right down to the ground. Another great piece in there from one of our newer writers, Alex. He's looking at Josh Gordon's impact on the Browns and their drive towards the playoffs. So, a good piece in there from him. And Matt, our college scout, is hard at work still looking at those next year draft prospects and bringing you features on the college game as well as profiling schools. So a real good issue this month. And just get over to our website, huddlemagazine.com. Or again, today I'm going to be home early, so I'll actually get to watch the Jaguars. So anyone who wants to message me about anything up to and including the Jaguars, I'll be watching the game today. So at Huddle Magazine, I'll be controlling the Twitter today and watching the game.
Awesome stuff. I appreciate the call as always. Minus the tunnels and technology battles, mate. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Well, the train's just moving off from another station now, so now is probably an opportune time for me to say thanks very much to everyone who's listening. Thanks for listening to my jabbering and our news, and bid you goodbye before the signal cuts out again.
Yeah, likewise, buddy. Get home, enjoy that Jags game for once, and I shall speak to you next week. And he's gone. He's cut off. You couldn't have timed that any better. I doubt he'll ring back, but there we go. Last 5 minutes of the show. Just going to wrap this up. Massive thanks to at Dundee NFL, Simon there, for coming in for the fantasy advice. Tom, as always, with the latest news and keeping everyone up to date as we head towards kickoff, 35 minutes away from week 13, the nitty-gritty part of the season. I think I was last running through the standings, got to the AFC South, I do believe. Colts sit pretty, 7-4, Texans 5-6, Titans 2-9, Jags 1-10. The Jags are on a losing streak of 4 games. Titans have lost the last 5. Houston lost the last 1. Colts won their last 1. Into the NFC East we go. Philadelphia Eagles now top of that division after knocking off the Cowboys on Thursday night. They are 9-3. Won the last 2 games. Cowboys 8-4. The New York Giants and the Redskins both 3-8. The Giants have lost the last 6 games. The Redskins lost their last 3 games. Into the north, Green Bay Packers, what does that say? 8-3, won the last 3 games. Lions 8-4, Bears 5-7, the Vikings 4-7. Vikings lost the last 2, Bears their last 1. Into the NFC South, which is just a mess of the division. They're never going to change the playoff standings and rankings and stuff, so stop crying about that, people. If you win your division, you get a home game. That's that. It's one of them things. They are Falcons 4-7, Saints 4-7, Panthers 3-7-1, and the Bucks 2-9. Falcons lost 1 last game. The Saints lost 3 on the bounce. The Panthers have lost 5 on the bounce. Bucks, they lost their last game. Into the AFC West, the Cardinals sit there 9-2. The Seattle Seahawks have certainly turned up the temperature over the course of the last 10 days. They beat the Cardinals at their place, then went into San Francisco, knocked them off. So the Seattle Seahawks, they look to be back with a bang, in fairness. Next up is the 49ers, looking in, basically 7-5 with an uphill struggle to make the playoffs. The St. Louis Rams prop up the division 4-7. Seahawks, they've won their last 2. Cardinals obviously lost their last game, as did the 49ers, and the Rams lost their last game. So have we done the divisions? Let's look at the playoffs as things stand now. In the NFC, number 1 seed is your Arizona Cardinals. 2 seed would be the Philadelphia Eagles. Your 3 seed is the Green Bay Packers. Your 4th seed, which is very odd, it just looks wrong, is the Atlanta Falcons. 5th seed, Seattle Seahawks. 6th seed is the Detroit Lions. On the outside looking in, we have the Cowboys, 49ers, Bears, and the Saints, ridiculously, at 4-7. Into the AFC, your number 1 seed is the New England Patriots. Number 2 seed, Denver Broncos. Number 3 seed is the Bengals. 4 is the Colts. Your 5th seed, as it stands, are the Chiefs. And the 6th seed is the Chargers. There's a pack basically looking in at this. We have the Baltimore Ravens, 7-4, same record as the Chiefs and Chargers. Pittsburgh Steelers 7-4, Cleveland Browns 7-4, the Miami Dolphins 6-5, and the Buffalo Bills 6-5. So the AFC, that's wide open for playoff, but wild card berths, I should say that, and a couple of divisions still up for grabs there. So that rounds off the playoff picture, which brings me on nicely towards the end of the show, last 120 seconds of the show. Massive thank you to Biff at BiffRooJet on Twitter for ringing in and talking Jets there. So that was nice to do, Biff. Great to catch up with you, buddy. Everyone that's tweeted into the show today, Rocket Ron, Rich Tinley, Will Davies, as always, quiet on Twitter this week. No fan versus fan, which is a bit disappointing, but one of those things. I did get a few replies from quite a few guys do it busy and stuff, so I appreciate the reply. We will try again next week with the fan versus fan. We will also take a look at the NFC next week, something similar to what I've done earlier. We will have fantasy news. We will have Tom, hopefully minus the train and the tunnel, with the latest news. Might do a couple of guys on the love line. If you've got any nominations for that, hit me up at Zone Coverage FS, www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com is the website. You know by now, I keep banging the same old drum. Get to the website, subscribe, ratings, feedback, tune in, Spreaker, there your apps for listening live. If there's anything you want to mention on the show, anything you like, dislike, just hit me up. I really don't mind. The more and more feedback I get, the better and better I can hopefully make this show for you listening. So keep spreading the word. It's fantastic stuff. I appreciate everything that everyone is doing. And that is me done. That is week 13 of the season to look forward to. Episode 18 in the books. Massive thank you to everyone that's tuned in today, and if you are new, hopefully you enjoyed this episode and you will check us out again. But until next week, remember, hustle, hit, and never quit.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Unable to listen live? We've got that covered. Simply search the Zone Coverage Football Show in either iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And don't forget to subscribe. All our shows and details on how to call into the show can be found on the website, www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com.